I was eating day-old bread behind a dumpster when a lawyer in a pearl necklace said my name. And that's when I learned I'd inherited.
Just 6 months ago, Michael Parker was designing skyscrapers, the kind of glass spires that pierce the clouds. His name was in architectural magazines, his shelves lined with awards. Now he knew which dumpsters had the best pastries and which shelters you wake up in without your shoes. His entire world had shrunk to a cold, wet alley behind a bakery. Every morning at 7:45 sharp, Enzo, the bakery owner, would leave unsold bread, wrapped in clean wax paper, on top of the dumpster. It was a silent act of kindness. This morning, though, frost covered Michael's sleeping bag like a layer of lace. At 46, he was a ghost, invisible in a city he once helped build. As he huddled by the dumpster, clutching a piece of focaccia, he heard the distinct click-clack of expensive shoes on the pavement. The rhythm was too precise for a cop, too confident for a random passerby. Michael James Parker? The voice was sharp, professional, and completely out of place in the grime of the alley. He looked up. A woman in a flawless charcoal suit stood before him, her silver-streaked hair perfect, a pearl necklace gleaming in the dim light. "Who's asking?" Michael's voice was a rough whisper. "I am Eleanor Winters, an estate attorney. I've been looking for you." She held up a photo of him from his former life, clean-shaven, smiling, standing proudly in front of a tower he'd designed. "You've been named in a will," she said calmly, "by Professor Josephine Takahashi." The bread fell from Michael's hand. Professor Takahashi. He hadn't seen her in 15 years. She kept records on all her former students, Winters explained. She knew about your firm, your divorce, and this. She gestured to the alley. Michael stared down at his own trembling hands, his torn jeans, his shoes held together with duct tape. "She left you everything," Winters said, opening her briefcase. She listed off the assets: a waterfront estate on Lake Washington, a world-class art collection, a massive investment portfolio, rare architectural books. "The estimated value," she said, her voice steady, "is $67 million. Michael felt the world tilt. It had to be a scam. But Winters had the documents, the credentials, the will itself. "There's one condition," she added, and a deadline. "You must come to her estate within 96 hours. "And if I don't?" Michael asked. "The entire estate transfers to the alternate beneficiary." She paused. "Your ex-wife, Natalie Parker, Natalie. The woman who laughed at his downfall, who told him he'd die forgotten." The thought of her getting everything, it was a punch to the gut. Winters gestured to a black Mercedes waiting at the curb. "You have a choice, Mr. Parker. Stay here, or find out why your mentor chose you." Michael looked at his makeshift bed of cardboard. "Give me 15 minutes, he said. He had to tell someone. He found Sophia, a retired nurse who'd shared her food and her stories, keeping him alive on the streets. She pressed an old, tarnished compass into his hand. "Go," she whispered, "and if this is real, don't forget the people still down here." Hours later, showered, shaved, and wearing clean clothes, Michael walked into a house that was a work of art itself. In Professor Takahashi's study, surrounded by books and overlooking the mountains, Winters played a video, and there she was. Professor Takahashi, her gaze as sharp as ever. "Hello, Michael," she began. "If you were watching this, you have lost everything." Just as I once did. Michael froze. She revealed a secret no one knew. She had been homeless in the 1970s, living out of her car after her own life fell apart. "An architect saved me," she said. "He didn't give me charity. He gave me a partnership, dignity." She looked directly into the camera. "I've watched you for years, Michael. Not because you were my most successful student, but because you failed so magnificently." She explained that her private investigators had followed him. They reported how he sketched shelter designs for others in the alley, how he shared his food when he had almost none, how he taught a kid to read blueprints. That, she said, her voice softening, is why you inherit everything. Then her tone became firm. But here's the condition. In 3 years, you must design and build homes, not shelters, but dignified homes for at least 200 homeless people. The final twist? If he refused, all $67 million would go to his ex-wife, Natalie. As the screen went dark, Professor Takahashi's last words echoed in the room. You are an architect to your bones. This is the building you were meant to create. Winters stepped forward. What is your decision, Mr. Parker? Michael wiped the tears from his face, his hand clutching the compass Sophia had given him. He looked out at the city skyline. I'll do it. Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.